All right, well, let's start with our power rankings. This is preseason power rankings. For those that don't know what we do on the Big Mountain, we take all the Big Ten teams, all the Mountain West teams, we sprinkle in the Pac-12 and a little bit of Seminole, Florida State in there. So we got 33 teams that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to go from 21 or from 33 up to 21. So kind of the bottom third-ish. Here's what we got, Steve, and then we'll talk about them. Down at the very bottom, we apologize, Go Lobos, but this is where you're going to start the preseason poll for us. New Mexico at 33, then working our way up, Utah State and Nevada there at 30. Actually tied for 30, Purdue and Nevada. We have a tie for 30, the only tie we have. Purdue and Nevada. Then we've got Northwestern at 29, San Diego State at 28, then Washington State down here at 27, Colorado State at 26. Then we got Maryland, Fresno State, Wyoming, Wisconsin, and then just out of our top 20, Air Force coming in at 21. So we had a couple teams here that we did not agree on.
Yeah.
What do you think about that bottom list, Steve?
Well, I think the bottom list is very fair. I mean, those are all teams that either struggled in the Big Ten or struggled in the Mountain West or expected to struggle a little bit. Or just have some uncertainties about them.
Yeah.
Now, I'll let you talk about specifically about the ones we disagreed on, but I think, especially at the very beginning of the season, but we always have this kind of problem is it's hard to compare the conferences.
Very hard.
Where the teams slot in. So like the kind of where the bottom of the Big Ten slots in with the bottom of the Mountain West. And then you'll see later kind of at the top. Those top Mountain West teams, where do they slot in comparison to the Big Ten? So that's kind of where we differ, and it's just hard. It's difficult there. But I think overall, like if you look at this group, I don't think there's any like super surprises. A team like Wyoming, we both think they're going to do better this year, but they're coming off a year where they struggled.
Right.
A team like Colorado State. And maybe even a Washington State had, decent years last year, but we're thinking they could struggle this year. And then obviously teams like Northwestern and Purdue, who are just, unfortunately, and the Lobos rebuilding, and Northwestern and Purdue just also kind of just rebuilding, just continuing to struggle. So I think it's a very fair bottom group.
Yeah, I'm sure if we had any Ram fans here, they would tell us Colorado State at 26 is far too low. And we'll see. We'll see what they got this year. I question how they're going to do. I mean, they've got a great quarterback. They do still have talent, but they have a harder schedule. That is a team I think maybe that we have down here in the bottom that could, eventually work its way up. I'm not going to talk about 21, 22. They're right there out of the top 20. Obviously, they're close. But I would say Colorado State maybe the team that we have the lowest here that could work their way up.
I do want to say something actually about 21, not necessarily about the position they're in, about Air Force, because regardless of what position we have them in, they're a team that really struggled last year, and they don't necessarily get the benefit of the transfer portal like a lot of other programs, so they're kind of stuck with what they had. So there is a theory out there that last year was just kind of in the recruiting cycle was a down year as far as like not very many guys with experience. And they got a lot of experience, and so now this year could really be a massive uptrend again with them.
Yes, for sure. So the three teams you and I disagreed on, the one team we had disagreed on the most of anyone in this entire poll was Maryland. And I was a little surprised. You had them up in 23. I had them all the way down in 30 because I know you were not very big on them. So I was surprised to see that you had them at 23. The other ones that we were pretty different, Wisconsin and Northwestern. I had actually Northwestern up a little bit higher, and I always have because I always give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yes. You have a soft spot in your heart.
I have a soft spot from 2 years ago, so probably not too surprising. But those were those. So anything else, sir? Or do you want to move to our middle pack?
Yeah, I think we can move on at this point.
Okay. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to William Davis. He's saying hello from Tarleton State. He's a Texan down there. That's awesome. All right, let's move up into our second group. I'll let you have it. This is 11 through 20.
Yeah, so this group, I mean, again, this is really kind of that middle of the pack group. We have some spots in here where some Mountain West teams are going to start to slot in. So right out of the gate, number 20, we have Michigan State at 20. And then we have Hawaii at 19, Oregon State, the Beavs at 18, Rutgers at 17, UCLA at 16, Florida State at 15, San Jose State slots in the Big Mountain Power Rankings at 14. And then we've got Nebraska at 13, UNLV at 12, and Minnesota at 11. So we're starting to see, some of the higher Mountain West teams slot in.
Right.
And that's, at least in one case, in this group, where we ran into one of our bigger disagreements.
Yes, I'm sorry. Our wonderful computer has shut down, and I need to get all of our people on here. So anyway, but I'm listening to you.
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit here about some of that. So first of all, Hawaii in there, I was pleasantly surprised that we both had them up there in that middle group. I expect a lot of things from them this year. Florida State, they're just so hard to figure out. They're not a Big Ten. They're not a Mountain West team. They had such a disappointing year last year.
Right.
Coming off of nearly undefeated, basically an undefeated season the year before that. And it's just really hard to see where they're at this year. Now, we did do a preview with Doug and TJ.
Yes.
And they have a pretty favorable schedule early in the season. So, it really hard. I had them at 12. You had them at 18. This is one of our bigger disagreements. And, I'm probably just in general higher on Florida State, and you're pretty down on Florida State. Kind of the opposite of where you're at with Northwestern.
I wouldn't say I'm down on them, but they have a lot to show me before I'll be up on them.
Yes.
So yes, they're more of a show me. I mean, I was I was kind of surprised about Maryland. I was really surprised you had Florida State at 12.
Yeah.
That I was surprised by that.
Well, just like it's hard to kind of figure out and that's why this is fun. It's tricky to figure out where the Mountain West and the Big Ten teams slot in, and then you throw a wild card like Florida State.
Right.
It's a little easier, I think, with Oregon State and Washington State because they basically played a Mountain West schedule last year. So we kind of know, where to slot them in a little bit more.
They were easy last year. They will not be easy this year.
They'll be tougher this year.
They only play a few Mountain West teams this year. So it made complete sense to have that. And Florida State, they were like a rock.
Yes.
We just couldn't get them down low enough.
So one of the other,
you kept picking them.
Yes, I did. Yes. So one of the other ones that we were a little bit far off on was San Jose State. Honestly, I think where they ended up at 14 is probably really good. You had them all the way up at 10.
I did. I like them.
Yeah, I had them down at 16. And I think 14, like right there in the middle. That's usually how things work out. One of us is a little too high, maybe, and one of us a little too low.
Yep.
And it evens out.
Yep.
And 14 is a good spot for them because if they go on a run where they get into the Mountain West Championship game, we could easily see them jumping into that top 10, which would put them in a good spot to compete for a CFP spot. So, we were 6 off on that, but I think very fair where they came out at 14.
Yeah.
A couple teams I wanted to mention in here. Big Ten teams, Minnesota and Nebraska. We have those at 11 and 13. These are two teams that I think are really trending up this year. I like them. And I could see them jumping up as well if they maybe exceed expectations a little bit.
Okay.
Anything jump out at you in there?
I think you hit it right. Sorry, I finally got our stupid computer up and running again. But yes, I think you're right about San Jose State. I think right here at round 14 is makes sense. I may be a little aggressive getting them in the top 10. And I think Florida State at 15 right now until we see what they're going to be like this year. I certainly don't want them any higher than 15 in our ranking. So
to me, San Jose State this year is kind of like a UNLV of last year, where like there's a lot of potential. They have some opportunities.
Right.
Like they could move up and be a player in that, in not only a player for the Mountain West Championship, but a player that kind of comes out of nowhere to, be a contender for that G6 CFP spot.
There's a lot of teams here that we like that I think we could see. We would say we could see them moving up into the top 10. I think UNLV could get there. Nebraska potentially could get there. And you got Oregon State here at 18. Depending on what they do this season, they could be moving up pretty well too.
I'm really intrigued by Hawaii. They have an opportunity coming right out of the bat to get a P4 win against, I think, was a P4 team that's going to struggle this year, but still would be a good resume builder. So I'm really intrigued about Hawaii this year.
Well, I'm going to be picking the Hawaii-Stanford game here in just a little while. I won't let that cat out of the bag yet. Let's close the poll, and then we'll get to our top 10. So, what does it say here, Steve? It says Mountain West coverage, 42%, PAC coverage, 26%, Big Ten coverage, 21%, and our picks, 10%.
Yes.
And that's why we started the channel.
Yeah, it is. But you know what?
But that's not what it's what we still do.
Yes,
but
yeah.
We're much bigger than just a...
because you can only pick games 4 months a year, and there's 8 other months. And it does not surprise... Mountain West does not surprise me. I was interested to see the split between the PAC and the Big Ten, because we got really hot and heavy in PAC coverage right away.
Yeah.
Out of the gate when the old PAC collapsed and we were covering the lawsuit and stuff. So doesn't really, none of that really surprises me.
Well, for whatever reason you're here, we are very glad that you are here.
Absolutely.
And we're going to keep doing it as long as we're having fun.
We even got a Notre Dame fan here, so.
Well, there you have it. Let's get to the top. Well, let's get to the next group. The next group we're going to do 6 through 10. We're going to we're going to milk this sucker.
Love it.
So 6 through 10, Steve. Number 10, and we got to talk about this team.
Yes.
Michigan. Number 10.
Yep.
Michigan. And then at 9, we have Iowa. Boise State, the highest Mountain West team that we have, comes in at 8. And then USC at 7. And Washington, a team you really like, at 6.
Yes.
So I'm going to throw it to you. Michigan, you had them all the way up in 8th. I had them at 13th. I'm a little disappointed that they're in our top 10. I'm not going to lie. But speak to me about that you had them at number 8.
Yeah, so this is a team, Michigan. I really struggled with this as far as where to rank them, especially against some of like the middle of the pack Big Ten teams, and then also against some of the top Mountain West teams.
Yep.
Just because they have so much talent. They still are a really talented team. They've been bringing in 5-star recruits. They're a very talented team, but I'm expecting a big drop-off. So it's one of those things where they're starting out in our top 10, but I would expect them to drop. It's like I feel like I just needed to put them up there just for they're 2 years removed from a national championship.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, they play UNM. I'm sorry, that was rude. We're talking about 2025, not 2023.
Well, it's funny you say that, because when we
crap.
talk about teams like Ohio State and Oregon, you like to say how you give them the benefit of the doubt.
We're talking about Michigan right now.
Okay, we are talking about Michigan. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you can say that here in a few minutes.
Yes.
I don't know what the heck I was going to say.
I put you on tilt.
So I know. Here's what I was going to say. So I know. So UNM plays Michigan in week 1. I can tell you right now, Mario is going to be gung ho that the Lobos are going to throw a massive upset. Do you know who they play in week 2? I'm putting on the spot.
Week 2. Let's see.
Is it somebody good, or is it?
No, I don't
Sister
know.
Mary of the Poor.
They have Oklahoma coming up very early in the season.
Oh, that's right.
That
might be week 2.
I think that's actually week 3, because the Coach Moore has suspended the first 2 games, which I think they're both pretty cupcake opponents. Sorry, Lobos fans. And then he's allowed to come back for week 3, which is Oklahoma.
Okay, well, whatever it is.
Sorry, Mario.
My point was going to be, this may be, if Oklahoma was week 2, this may be the only time they're in the top 10 all season.
Right.
But we shall see. Yeah. All right. And then Boise there at 8. I think that's a fair placement. I had them all the way up in 5. I had them in the top 5 in the Mountain West. In our rankings, you had them down in 11th. Outside of the top 10, I would have thought you were maybe a little hard on them. But I at least, 8, 7, 8, 9 here with them. All good. And I know there's some teams here with Washington, with Iowa that you're pretty high on this year. So... and USC. I shouldn't leave them out.
Yes.
I crap on them.
Yes.
You like them too. So getting them in with these teams that you're pretty high on, I think is fair enough.
It is, and for me, I think, and I'm high on Boise this year. I picked them to be the G6 representative in the CFP.
Yeah.
I think that they will get solidly within the top 10. They will be solidly within the top 10 probably all season.
Okay.
Knocking on that top 5 door. But I will say at the beginning of the season, I think they have a little bit to prove of what are they without Genty. I mean, he was our Big Mountain Player of the Year last year.
Right.
The People's Heisman winner. To me, I'm going out there on a limb. He is going to lead the NFL in rushing this season. He will be the rushing champ this season.
Is there a prop bet
Guarantee
for that?
it. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. So they just have a little bit to, and I think they're going to come out and prove it. I expect them to come out and show up against Notre Dame early in the season. I think they'll take care of their out of conference schedule. But at the beginning of the season, for me, they need to prove a little bit.
So, talk about rumblings here. He says, is Iowa going to have an offense? We were just talking about that before we went live.
Yeah.
Answer that question.
Yeah, so I'm really big on Iowa this year, even bigger now, a couple weeks later, than when we did our preseason predictions and our over-unders and our exact records. I'm hearing a lot of buzz that Gronowski, I think is how you pronounce his name, two-time national champion winner at South Dakota State. The dude is just a player. He honestly reminds me of one Trace McSorley a couple years ago from Penn State. There's a lot of rumblings coming out of camp that he's playing really, really well. And that is really what they have been lacking. They're probably going to have a good defense. Their defensive line is sneaky good. I think they're going to be good on both sides of the ball, on the lines. They're going to run the ball well. They're going to play good special teams. What have they been missing is really good quarterback play, and I think they have somebody special. They got a dude this year, and if they can keep him healthy, I think he's going to be really good, and that's why I have Iowa up there pretty high.
Okay. We got a bunch of new people popping in here, new to this. Carla, politician and gamer Andy. I don't remember him before, but he's asking if Boise State's gonna kind of fall off without Ashton Jeanty. I don't think they're gonna fall off much at all. I think they have a really good running back room. I love their quarterback. They're still, to me, the best team in the Mountain West. But we are doing giveaways, so I did just add these new people into our hat. We'll be giving more stuff away, and Eric. He helped us out. He's got a star beside his name. He's our newest member here with the Big Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And he says Oklahoma is week 2 because I believe they were taking more 3 and 4.
Oh, maybe.
So maybe now because they added one, is it 1, 3, and 4? The whole thing's crap.
Yeah,
but anyway, so week 2, Oklahoma. If they get that L, we'll be doing our next power ranking after week 2, and they'll be dropping out of the top 10.
Big Mama 69 says that Jeanty won't be close to the rushing title. Oh, I beg to differ, young Big Mama.
Big Mama.
Pete Carroll is the new coach in Vegas, and that dude likes to run the ball. Jeanty is the perfect running back for that offense, so I will take that bet every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
All right, let's get to the top 5, Steve. You're up.
Okay. So at number 5, I've got the Oregon Ducks. Sorry JEH, but Oregon. I mean, they still have quite a bit of talent on that team. I think they'll have a good running game. They got a really, really good running back. I think their offensive line is still good. I think they'll be able to run the ball. I think they have enough talent to at least start in the top 5.
Yes.
The big question mark with them is going to be their quarterback play. Dante Moore, the former 5-star, coming up. He was the transfer from UCLA, was kind of a bust at UCLA, does not have a ton of experience. We'll see. JH says, F the Ducks. I got to start him at number 5, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they were, out of the top 5 teams, they were the first one to drop out, which it shouldn't be surprising because they're number 5.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
Everybody can see the top 5. We'll talk about them here in a minute. For those that are members, member-only episode number 1 recorded today will drop maybe on Friday, whenever the heck I get around to producing it. But if you're a member, you get an episode. Steve and I talk about some teams that, we're a little concerned about.
Yes.
I'm not going to say Oregon's one or not. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to say, if you're interested in a little extra content, become a member, you get a little extra content.
We talk about a few potential disasters in the Big Ten and a few potential disasters, or at least potential disappointments in the Mountain West.
There you go. All right, keep going. Number 4.
Number 4, Illinois. Luke Altmaier coming back. They were a 10-win team last year, like the quietest 10-win team of any Power 4 team last year. It boggles my mind. They had a better resume and a better record than a bunch of those SEC teams that ESPN and Paul Feinbaum just love to talk about and all that stuff. Illinois was a pretty solid team last year. They got a lot of production coming back. They have their experienced starting quarterback coming coming back. I love the trend that they're on. I think this is going to be the peak of their current cycle. And
at the peak?
They're nearing the peak this year. Yeah, they will be at the
Okay.
peak of this current cycle for Illinois. And I expect them to compete for a Big Ten championship, and that's why I have them number 4 in our Big Mountain Power Rankings. The next team,
Can I say?
Yes.
I love that our producer split views this.
Yes.
I'm done. Go ahead.
No. Well, and again, I'm gonna say.
Look, he put our email down there. There you go.
There we go.
There you go, Hard Rockin'. He's got it on the screen for
And
you.
so we've made a lot about our 2-year anniversary. We've talked about that with special discount for our members and all that kind of stuff for our viewers. But we wouldn't be where we are today without our producer, PWB. Not only is he's one of our best friends, but he's the best producer that we could possibly get on our budget.
They're gonna see how cool he is when we get to our Mount Rushmore here in about 5 more minutes.
Exactly.
And I've clearly lost some interest in this because everything I've been saying now is anything but the power rankings. So,
Yes.
JY, stay focused.
Let's
we got
stay
3 more
focused.
teams.
Okay.
here.
So the next team, this is the team that broke the minds of the SEC. SEC fans going crazy about Indiana. They were 11-1 last year. They had a top 35 schedule in the country. Everything was made of them having this easy schedule. They beat the defending national champions, Michigan Wolverines, last year. So I have Indiana Hoosiers coach Kirk Cignetti at number 3. I honestly think so. Their schedule is not quite as easy as it was last year. They had an easy road through the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Their schedule is a little harder this year, but I think their roster is better. I have them at number 3 because to me, this is if all these teams played each other, who would win? Mm-hmm. And the only 2 teams that I have in my mind that would definitely beat them would be Penn State and Ohio State. I think they can beat every other team on here in a neutral field, head to head. So they may end up with a worse. I think they probably will end up with a worse record than last year. Probably not going to win 11 games again.
Right.
But they're a really solid team, and they're starting at number 3 in our Big Mountain Power Rankings.
Well, I think you had Illinois above Indiana. I had Indiana above Illinois. It's for
Really
me,
close.
it's kind
Those
of
are
a coin flip. Like,
Yep.
they're both right there.
And they play each other this year. So
So we're gonna know.
Yes.
And it's going to be fun next year. I think we'll include all of the PAC schools, which means we get to put Texas State into this sucker.
Ooh.
A school that I followed a little closely.
I like it. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the new Mountain West schools will be added as well. NIU and UTEP. So, all right, let's get to the top 2. As everybody sees, somebody already shouted out. Jerry already said. First of all, happy anniversary, guys.
Yes.
Thank you, Jerry. And also, kind of what a shock. Steve has Penn State as number 1. And let's be just clear. This isn't just Steve. This is both of us.
Yep.
You had them as number 1. I had them as number 2. You had Ohio State. I had Ohio State as number 1 because that's what I do.
Yes.
And you're right. Until Penn State can beat Ohio State will always be number 1 for me, or at least ahead of Penn State.
Yes.
And you had Ohio State as like 4 or something like that.
Yes.
So which I get.
I think 3 behind.
3 or 4.
Behind Illinois, Penn State, Illinois.
So it wasn't like a 1-2 thing
Yes.
where they would be tied.
Yes.
You did have Ohio State down under Illinois.
Yes.
So it's a true ranking here, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I again, coin flip for me. I had Ohio State as 1. I will until Penn State beats them. Mm-hmm. But preseason, coin flip it for me. I don't really care.
Yeah. So they're our top 2. I think they're everybody's top 2. Now, what I will say, if there's people out there that are just like, oh, Steve's just going to pick them because it's a homer pick or whatever. Well, this is the 3rd year we've picked these and done this.
Yep.
The last 2 years, I had Ohio State over Penn State. And this year, I think I'm looking at their schedules. I'm looking at their rosters for this year. And the biggest thing with Ohio State, and we've talked about this on other episodes, not only did they lose both their offensive and defensive coordinator, they lost their starting quarterback. They lost a lot on both lines. They're a super talented team. Like they're number 2 on our power rankings. They're starting off the season top 3 on all the national rankings. Some number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever, somewhere on there. They're a super talented team. The biggest thing for them, they named Julian Sayin the starting quarterback.
Yes.
That was a battle that went a lot longer than people thought. And the rumblings were that this guy hasn't won the job. So it makes me wonder, we're getting that close. Did he win the job or was he given the job? Because he's the guy. I followed that battle pretty close. And we'll see about him. The jury is out. He does not have a lot of experience. I mean, he has no experience, basically, other than some mop-up work. So that'll be the big question for them is how quickly can he get up to speed and get this offense going again?
Do you know how many teams didn't name a starting quarterback until this past week? A lot.
And
100%
of those teams have big quarterback questions coming
No,
into
I
the
disagree.
season. No, they do. They do. They do.
No.
Notre Dame, CJ Carr, huge question marks.
No.
Though they do, because they couldn't even name a starting quarterback until a week before the season. That is a big deal. If you look at the history of college football, and especially the last few years, look at who won the national championship. Look who's been successful. Okay. It's teams that brought back starters who had experience. Last year, Will Howard, not the most talented guy in the world, but what did we say about him? He was coming in with like 40-something career starts under his belt, and even though he wasn't the most talented guy, he came in, he knew how to run that offense. He knew how to get a first down when they needed to get a first down, which he did against Penn State when they closed out the game. And we just don't know. Both Dante Moore with US or Oregon and with Julian Sayin at Ohio State. Those are big question marks.
All right. Well, you've got Penn State as one, and you can talk about them if you want, but I'm getting itchy. I want to get to some picks.
I don't think we need to talk about them a lot, other than to say it looks like that they have followed the mold that both Michigan, without the cheating part, and Ohio State have followed the last couple of years. Bring back a lot of their players, experienced players, and it looks like they're set up for it. We'll see how they do this year. But it looks like they're set up for a good run.
Yeah. Oh, they're set up. No doubt. I mean, they are set up as good as they've ever been. Can they take it across the goal line? That's my question.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see.
That's everybody's question. Yeah.